Some people vanish and are never seen again. From Hollywood stars to prime ministers, these are true stories. So strange, they feel like legends. Ready to dive into the mysterious world of the missing? Make sure to subscribe to our channel to watch the full video. 1. Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean and one of the greatest pioneers of flight in history. In 1937, while Amelia and her companion Fred Noonan were flying around the world, they mysteriously disappeared during the final leg of their journey from the Pacific Ocean to Hawaii. Their aircraft experienced communication issues, and no trace of them was ever found. Some rumors say that their plane crashed due to low fuel, while others suggest they landed on an unknown island or were even captured by Japanese forces. No evidence of their bodies or the plane's wreckage has ever been found, and the case remains a mystery. 2. Jimmy Hoffa. Jimmy Hoffa was a famous American labor union leader and one of the prominent figures in political and labor history. In 1975, Hoffa disappeared after going to meet some people at a restaurant in Detroit. Rumors suggest that he was killed by the mafia or criminal groups, and that his body was buried in a football stadium, but there is no solid evidence for these theories. Extensive investigations were carried out, but no trace of him was ever found. His disappearance became one of the greatest mysteries in American history. 3. Edward V of England. Edward V, the son of King Edward IV, ascended to the English throne in 1483, but soon disappeared. He and his younger brother Richard were imprisoned in the Tower of London, and no word was ever heard from them again. Rumors suggest that Edward's uncle, Richard III, might have murdered them to seize the throne. No evidence of their deaths or survival has been found, and no one knows exactly what happened to the two brothers. 4. Michael Rockefeller. Michael Rockefeller, heir to the wealthy Rockefeller family, traveled to Papua New Guinea in 1961 with a group of researchers. He aimed to document indigenous cultures, but disappeared during one of his trips to a remote island. Some rumors say that he was killed and sacrificed by the natives, while others believe he lived in the jungle and never returned home. His body was never found, and the mystery remains unsolved. 5. D.B. Cooper. One of the strangest mysteries in history, D.B. Cooper was a man who hijacked a plane in 1971, demanded $200,000 in ransom, then parachuted out of the plane and disappeared. Extensive investigations were conducted to find him, but no trace of D.B. Cooper or his parachute was ever found. There are many theories about his identity. Some believe he was a government agent carrying out the hijacking professionally. No evidence of his discovery or his true identity has ever emerged. 6. Richard Simmons. Richard Simmons, a famous fitness instructor, became highly popular in the 1980s and 1990s. He appeared on television motivating people to join weight loss programs. However, since 2014, he mysteriously disappeared. Rumors suggest that he stepped away from the public eye due to mental health issues, or perhaps health reasons. Though he has recently made limited appearances in some interviews, there is still no clear explanation for his disappearance. 7. Levi Strauss. Levi Strauss, the founder of the famous brand Levi's, which is known for making jeans, traveled to California in the 19th century. During one of his trips to the mountainous areas, he disappeared and was never heard from again. Some say he may have met with an accident in nature or was even killed, but there is no official evidence to explain his disappearance. 8. Connie Converse. Connie Converse was a composer and singer who became famous in the 1950s. In 1974, after writing an emotional letter to her friends stating that she was withdrawing from social life, she disappeared. Some believe she intentionally disappeared and started a new life, but no one ever saw or heard from her again, leaving many questions about her fate. 9. George Mallory. George Mallory was one of the first mountaineers who tried to summit Mount Everest. In 1924, while attempting to reach the peak, he disappeared. No one knows whether he actually reached the summit or not. His body wasn't found until 1999, but there are still many questions about whether he truly was the first person to reach the Everest summit. 10. Barbara Newhall Follett. Barbara Newhall Follett was a young and talented writer who published books that received positive reviews in the 1930s. In 1939, when she was only 25 years old, she disappeared. Rumors suggest that she might have run away due to mental health issues or the pressures of life. No evidence of her whereabouts has been found, and many questions remain about her fate. 11. Etan Patz. Etan Patz was a 6-year-old boy who disappeared in 1979 after leaving his home in New York. He became the first missing child in the U.S. to receive widespread media coverage. Investigations revealed that he was likely abducted by someone familiar, and after many years, a man named Pasqua confessed to killing him. However, some unanswered questions still remain. 12. Richie Edwards. Richie Edwards, a member of the band Manic Street Preachers, disappeared in 1995. In the days leading up to his disappearance, he had been struggling with mental health issues, and it is likely that he decided to withdraw from everything due to personal or professional pressures. There are still rumors suggesting he might be alive and hiding somewhere. 13. Anne Craven. Anne Craven was a 32-year-old woman from Florida who disappeared in 1977. She had spent the night with a friend at a cafe in Miami and was on her way home when she was never seen again. There are rumors that she might have decided to disappear due to financial and emotional problems, or was even murdered. No evidence has been found to explain her disappearance. 14. Harold Holt. Harold Holt, the Prime Minister of Australia in the 1960s, disappeared in December 1967 while swimming in the ocean near the coast of Victoria. Witnesses said he appeared to be swimming fine when he suddenly vanished. After a large-scale search involving divers, no trace of him was found. There are rumors suggesting he was captured by Chinese officials or that he voluntarily disappeared to escape his political responsibilities, but his fate remains uncertain. 15. Patty Hearst. Patty Hearst, an heiress to a media empire, was kidnapped by a paramilitary group called the Symbionese Liberation Army in 1974. Months later, she bizarrely became a member of the group and engaged in crimes like bank robberies. After being captured, she claimed she had been coerced and threatened. Her initial disappearance continues to spark questions, with some believing she ran away voluntarily, while others argue she was completely under the control of her captors. 16. Fred Noonan. Fred Noonan was Amelia Earhart's companion on the famous 1937 world flight. He served as the navigator, and while Amelia was flying, he mysteriously disappeared. After Amelia's disappearance, Fred Noonan also vanished without a trace. There are various theories about him. Some believe he crashed alongside Amelia, while others think he might have disappeared alongside Amelia, while others think he might have disappeared independently and lived on a remote island. 17. Bruno Borges. Bruno Borges was a 24-year-old man from Brazil who disappeared in March 2017 after leaving his home. When his family visited his room, they found it filled with mysterious books, strange writings, and images of complex codes. Surprisingly, none of the books or writings were ever opened, and his disappearance remains one of the biggest mysteries. Some believe he disappeared in search of a spiritual or philosophical truth. 18. Lars Mittank. Lars Mittank was a German man who disappeared in 2014 while on vacation in Bulgaria. After a medical issue left him behind on his trip, he began acting strangely at the airport and ran away from everyone. He was later seen on security cameras running away from the airport. To this day, no trace of Lars has been found, and theories abound about whether he fled due to psychological reasons, was attacked, or even committed suicide. 19. Ambrose Bierce. Ambrose Bierce, a writer, journalist, and literary critic, traveled to Mexico in 1913 to report on the Mexican Civil War. He vanished and was never heard from again. Some say he was killed in the conflict, but there is no definitive evidence. His last letter mentioned he was, quote, traveling to the ultimate destination, leading to many rumors about his mysterious disappearance. 20. Jean Spangler. Jean Spangler was a Hollywood actress and model who disappeared in 1949 after leaving her home to meet someone, or perhaps for other reasons. She was last seen near a park in Los Angeles, talking to someone. After that, there was no trace of her. Rumors suggest she may have been the victim of a crime or had secret ties to dangerous people. The case remains unsolved. 21. Philip Taylor Kramer. Philip Taylor Kramer, a member of the band Iron Butterfly, disappeared in 1995 while driving to an airport. His last phone call to his family indicated he was talking about a scientific project he was working on. After the call, no one could find him. His body was found 3 years later in a remote area, but the circumstances surrounding his disappearance and why he was in that area remain unclear. 22. Basil Dignam. Basil Dignam, an Australian man, disappeared mysteriously in 1990. He was a famous photographer who vanished during a trip to an island in the Pacific Ocean. Rumors suggest he may have been killed by pirates or local groups, but there is no evidence to confirm these speculations, and the case remains unanswered. 23. Elisa Lam. Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old Canadian girl, disappeared in 2013 while traveling to California. Her body was found weeks later in the water tank of the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. Before her body was found, a video emerged showing her acting oddly in an elevator, seemingly talking to someone invisible. The case became a famous internet mystery, with many speculating about the cause of her death, ranging from mental health issues to supernatural involvement. 24. Andrew Gaskell. Andrew Gaskell was a young man from the UK who disappeared in 2010 during a trip with his friends. One night, after meeting his friends, he separated from them and was never seen again. Some believe he voluntarily disappeared, but there is no evidence to support this claim. To this day, there has been no news about his whereabouts, and some speculate that he may be fleeing from his past life. 25. Don Creighton. Don Creighton was a well-known person who disappeared in the late 1980s. While on a trip to the Alps in Switzerland with his wife, he vanished after a day of traveling. Some believe he left the trip voluntarily, but the existing evidence doesn't clarify anything. 26. Brandon Swanson. Brandon Swanson disappeared in 2008 while driving home to Minneapolis. His car got stuck in a rural area, and after calling his father for help, he vanished. Though his phone call was traceable through cell towers, no one could locate him. Some believe he may have fallen into a hidden ravine, which explains why no trace of him was found. 27. Maura Murray. Maura Murray, a student, disappeared in 2004 while driving in New Hampshire. Her car was found abandoned along the road, but no trace of her was ever discovered. There are various theories about whether she disappeared on purpose or died in an accident, but the investigation remains ongoing and no clear answers have been found.